Welcome back to Bob Grows. Here we are in the backyard with the hydroponic garden. We have a couple changes with the heat coming in for summer here in South Florida. Let's flip the camera around and see what's going on.
All right, so here we are with the media bed. In my previous video, I'm not sure if it shows it on the side or not, we started this media bed. It was brand new. Basically, I took a bunch of other containers, I placed it in here just so that the bottom was in where the water was. The water's just below the surface. And slowly I started to add more plants in here. I placed a fig in here. That was cracky, it was inside the house. Put the chives here. They're actually standing up now, so I'm assuming they're doing better. Put the top of a pineapple. I know pineapples take like 1.5 years to grow, but I just put it there. I could always transplant it to soil in the backyard if I feel the need to. Here we got some garlic. It was sprouting inside in the kitchen. Nobody ate it, so I just took it out here, dropped it in here, and as you can see, wow, it's actually doing pretty well. So, again, I don't know how long garlic takes. Oh, whoops. So, you just kind of tuck it back in there, cover it back up. All right, so there's 2 of them there. Here's a little cutting from the basil plant, some more peppers. I don't know what peppers these are. These are seeds taken from some store-bought pepper that somebody gave me. They gave me the seeds and I just threw them in here initially. And they didn't sprout until I placed this in here. And now you can see there's tons of them sprouting, so germinating. So I just keep placing them into this media bed as they come out. You can see here the majestic red pepper doing absolutely amazing. Tons of buds, flowers coming out. The one that was next to it, right here, this is the large red cherry. It's not doing too hot. Got some type of disease. Something's going on here. I'm not quite sure. So I took him out. I didn't want him to be in there. I took a cutting. Hopefully we can clone it. Let's move on forward here. We got more of those same pepper plants. There was so many seeds. I just threw them all in here. Got a piece of ginger. I don't know if that's going to do anything. This is papaya coming up. We got Thai basil. We got just normal Italian basil here. Now this one was originally on the windowsill and all the leaves were yellow and it wasn't looking too hot. You can see it's been in that container for at least 1 year now. So at some point, somebody, I'm assuming my mother, took it out here and placed it in the media bed. And look at all these peppers. This is a hot banana pepper, but there are peppers absolutely everywhere. Remember, it's still in the soil. It's in the soil and then placed into this media bed. What else did we pick up here? We picked up a patio tomato. This is a determinate, so this doesn't keep growing crazy like these do. But we'll get to those in a second. Sorry, I don't mean to flip the camera around so much. But you can see down there we got a little baby tomato coming in. So I think this is good for this type of bed because it's going to grow. It's more of a bush rather than a huge vine. Here we have a cutting. That is from a tree over there. I'll show you in a second. And here's another cutting. This one I put in here just today. I wanted to try a barked, right? It's got like a bark to it, branch versus a fresh, what are they called? When they come off. Whatever, just a fresh one. And let's go look at the tree. So the tree is over here. And in Spanish it's called ciruela, but I believe they also call it's this one here. It's called the red plum, something like that. It's these guys. And you know, it's my neighbor's tree, but it kind of comes over my side, so I take some of the fruit. And there's obviously plenty on the floor. But it's very sweet. It's got a big seed in it. But I took you know, 1 or 2 cuttings and we'll see how they grow out. It'd be cool to plant that tree or just give it away. As you can see, mangoes over here. Beautiful mangoes hanging, they're not ready yet. So let's go back to hydroponics before we get distracted in the backyard. So that's it for the media bed. Let's move on forward. Here we have one of the tomatoes. This is Early Girl. And I think you guys are right about the deep water culture. I hate to say it, but as the weather keeps getting hotter, right, I'm having issues here. The fruits aren't really coming out, and it doesn't really look like it's growing too well. I mean, it's grown, but it doesn't look like it has as many flowers, and a lot of the flowers keep falling off. And I think it's the heat, and I believe they're not receiving the oxygen that they need. Remember, this is a deep water culture. There's no aeration, and I think that's the main problem. I'm gonna have to get a pump and give this some aeration, and I'll show you specifically why on the other side when we get there. It's just very strange that this doesn't have any fruit, where my other one that was over there had tons of fruit, tons of tomatoes. So there you have it. We harvested one big tomato, but it was also cracking. But I don't even see any flowers on here. So very strange. You know, the nutrients have all been correct. ppm probably 900, 1000, 1200, around there, hovers around there. This here is the cayenne pepper. This looks like it's doing okay. This one looks like it's fine, right? It's a little tall, but I noticed that this one down here that kind of died off started to make a comeback. So that's good. But I think I'm gonna add a pump. I'm looking at a pond pump, an aeration pump for these, and we'll see how that changes it. Or I might change them to Dutch bucket, which doesn't have the water inside, just full of media. This is interesting. This, I believe, is ghost pepper, but I have never seen growth like this. There's leaves everywhere, and it's yellow, very yellow. I'm assuming that this is some type of deficiency, but I think it has to do with the oxygen. I think this hot pepper needs much more oxygen. Here you can see very sad looking bell pepper. And one thing else I noticed is that the fruit doesn't grow very big. I guess I'm used to small fruit, but you know, it's not really growing that big. And again, I think this has to do with the oxygen and the hot water. So let's move forward. I recently went to Vegas, and all my bok choy died. For some reason, the flow was obstructed to up here, and it died. So I replaced it with cuttings of basil, and this seems to be growing fantastic. Just little cuttings I put in there. When they rooted, I put them in there. And this fig didn't make it. RIP. This one's doing okay. This pepper is super sad. And that's it for this. Maybe I'll put some more bok choy. Bok choy grows really well in here, and the leafy greens grow really well in here. Things that produce fruit, not so much. So that's how this is for now. Maybe I'll add more basil. I love the basil. We make a fresh pesto, very nice. Here we have the pepperoncini. It looks a lot different, or pepperoncini, whatever. It looks a lot different than it used to. It used to be this tall. I trimmed it back. I got pretty wild here with the pruning, and I pruned it all the way down because it was a little long. And again, as we get to the end, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. It didn't seem that there was as many leaves as it should have, and I think that's because of this oxygen thing that I'm talking about. That maybe that these DWCs need to be aerated, especially here in the hot, you know, South Florida weather. So we got some more mangoes, but so that's what this one is. It's growing back. I'm happy to see it coming out down here at the bottom, you know, in the little gaps. Right, and this should make it bushier, so I'm happy about that. Here we have another bell pepper, just like that one, and just like that one, also looking very sad. In the cooler months, everything was growing wild, but it just doesn't seem right now. So again, I'm working on the aeration pumps, and I might just convert this whole side to Dutch bucket, and then I'll put the aeration pump over there for those, and we'll just compare, you know, as good as we can, the difference in growth between those and these. That being Dutch, that being DWC with aeration, and this being Dutch bucket. This one here is Dutch bucket. You guys might have remembered the large vine that was here. Well, I had that vine for easily a year, and long story short, it came down and it crushed itself and it snapped the stem in half. So it slowly died. So I replaced it with a cutting, right? So he's gonna grow. This is the only Dutch bucket I have. As you can see, there's no water in there, only media. Now this is my prime example of what I was saying about it being weird.
So this is jalapeno, and obviously jalapenos aren't supposed to look like Christmas lights. These are all tiny and strange, and there's a lot of ants on there. But I really don't mind the ants. So this is the prime example that something isn't right, because it's growing, it's putting out fruit, but there's no leaves on here. It's very strange. There's no leaves. It seems like something is missing, and I monitor my my nutrients. I don't think it's that. I mean, there's some white mold on here or whatever, but that happens. Everything else is growing fine with that. That's part of the reason why I cut all the leaves off that one. But I think it's the hot temperature and the lack of aeration. These fruit, or jalapenos, have been turning red at this size, which is very strange, because I've never bought any jalapenos of this size. So I'll go inside and show you some now that I have stored so you can see, or maybe I won't, I'm not sure, but basically I need to do something about this, because this isn't very usable. Right, I can't use jalapenos that are this small and that size. They should be much larger. Anyway, guys, there's the update for today. I'm really considering starting some soil stuff. Maybe I'll get like a big planter, oval planter, and put it over there. But yeah, this is where we are. Hopefully we can get this resolved. I bought some lava rock to kind of convert these to Dutch bucket, so you can see how they perform, or if they could even get used to that. And again, we'll be doing aeration over there. Anyway, guys, thank you for checking by. Like and subscribe at the bottom. Have a great day. Peace.